My name's Mary Jane Collins, and I teach second grade at Willow Hill Elementary. Previously, I've always taught fifth grade. I spent 1 year at fourth grade, and then this year started second. So it was a big change for me, obviously, this year, and I've been pretty interested in doing my job better, making sure that I was reaching all of my students, and wanting to do a better job with my reading workshop. We do daily 5 here at Willow Hill, and I have a structure and a framework that was going really well. But I think we'd heard some rumors about things that had happened at Central, and that there were some curricular plans in place, and we just wanted to see what they were. So we just had a chance to see the curricular plans in action, and it was pretty eye-opening for me, exciting for me, and I brought back a lot from that. I think one of the things that was most important to me from that was that the Lucy Calkins reading workshop that was in place at Central is so similar in structure to the daily 5 that we already have in place here. So what it does for me as a teacher is, instead of having to change and do something all over again, I can keep something that we worked hard to put in place for all of the students. You know, we have it kindergarten on up here as the daily 5 structure. And I think that daily 5 needs to be seen as more of that structure, that, you know, the daily process. But what it's missing is the curriculum. It's missing, what do we do on a day-to-day or a month-to-month. And once we saw the Lucy Calkins and we're able to see that it has core pulled in already, and I don't have to go looking for it, it fit. It made a lot of sense. So I came back and I started right away pulling nonfiction from the Lucy Calkins, and I did actually the Lucy Calkins reading workshop curricular plan for nonfiction while I was doing the writing workshop, and it was just this amazing connection for the kids because they were reading things and then tying it right into these just amazing books that they were creating for nonfiction. And to me, it was just exciting to see how much they were putting together. And now I'm moving into just Monday, we'll be starting a section on folk tales and fiction and fairy tales. And what I noticed of this unit is a lot of the unit has the kids doing plays and speaking and doing the things that core is on and on and on about. Well, I picked up on that early in the year, and I have a great volunteer who comes to me, and he pulls, 5 to 12 kids every single week, and they do a play a week. So they do a lot of the readers workshop already. So when looking at the curriculum plan, I saw that and said, you know what, that's not a focus that my kids need, because I'm already doing that, I've already fit that. But it showed me, the fantasy, the fairy tale, the folklore, that I needed to start making connections and comparing and showing them, not just Cinderella, but Aschenputtel and, Yushin, and all of the different pieces that you can start comparing with one another, which is all tied to core. So it gave me a great focus for this month. I just like how it's helping me to piece together all of the things that I should be doing, but making it easier so I don't have to, look for, what am I going to teach for comprehension? What am I going to teach for this? What's my new lesson? And it's focused, it's grade level appropriate, and it's tied to that core. So I was really impressed with that. So another eye-opener for us was to see just how excited about books and the communication that was going on. The kids, I stopped by, I thought someone in Lynn's class wasn't really reading and wasn't doing, and I asked him, I said, well, what's going on over here? And I asked him about a book frenzy, and he just, just on and on and on about this excitement for books. And he's been trying to get a book for 3 times now for a book frenzy and hadn't gotten it. It showed me, oh my gosh, these kids, they care so much about reading. And I reflected on that, and I saw, within my daily 5 structure, they were coming back for guided reading, and, I would introduce a book, even a book that they were really interested in, Magic Tree House or something that they would have selected on their own, and I'd hand it out, and I'd get this just, look on second graders' faces, and I'm thinking, oh, what am I doing, trying to get them excited about it. but it just wasn't happening. Well, after reading The Book Whisperer, it just kind of reminded me of what I've done in 5th grade and with 4th graders, and just reading books and talking about books and getting them excited about it. And I thought, why in the world am I doing it so different for 2nd graders? I'm killing reading for them. I want them to love reading. And so I haven't done a guided reading group exactly like that since I read the book. I basically have pulled together as many good books as I could, and I started talking about them. This one's a great mystery. It's about this. This one's a great series. It's all about, and just trying to give them some ideas. And I'd ask for the kids to chime in. So they'd say, well, I read this one. This is really exciting. And I'd say, oh, don't give away the ending, having to walk them through it. But by the end, the first day I pulled 30 books and was just talking about them, and it was like scavenger. I mean, they were just grabbing them, taking them, and all of a sudden, the feel in my room changed. And it was within just a few weeks that you could just feel they were talking about books and sharing books and trading books. Someone would come in and say, I finished this, I really want to give it to so-and-so. And, doing it on their own, not because of me. And, then I started to tie into that. I started buying books. This little girl loves the Bailey School books, the junior Bailey School books. So I went and bought her 2 of them and said, here you go, will you try this out for me? And it was just like the best thing in the world for her, because I listened to what she said and focused in on some of the books that she likes. And I have one in here who all he cares about is reading sharks, and that's phenomenal. But I found some Ready Freddy books that one's about a shark tooth and one's about shark tails, and I found 2 of them, and all of a sudden his eyes lit up, and here he's got 2 books that are at his level that he can read, and then he's passed them around to probably 14 other kids at this point. 2 stories that I shared at MRA. One, there was a little boy who was a very reluctant reader in my classroom, and I couldn't get him to pick a book at all. I tried, and I tried, and every time, nothing. So, and he wasn't picking up on anything that other kids were offering. So I took a Stink book, one of the Stink series, and I laid it out, and I actually was doing a book talk for some other kids back here, and I was talking to these other kids about the books, and he was sitting back here just kind of grumbly. And when I introduced the book, I just said it was Judy Moody's little brother, and he's really funny and always up to mischief, and kind of gave an intro. The other kids didn't even hear it, and I knew they wouldn't, but I left it over to the side, and the next thing I know, he reaches over, pulls the book, and he started reading. And I didn't say a word. I'm thinking, oh gosh, just let this one pick up, And I just watched it, and he started reading and reading and reading, and then reading time was over, and he almost cried, groaned, because I'm not finished with this book yet. And I said, it's okay, we've got more, you've got more time, we've got to move on. A little bit later in the day was writer's workshop, and as soon as we finished, he grabbed his book and opened it right up. All my kids have books on the corners of their desks so they can read. They can steal that time anytime. And so as soon as he finished his writing piece, he opened up the book, and I didn't see it. He was back here, and he had a little blind around him to give him a little privacy. And the next thing I know, he was standing on the chair in the back of my room just cheering because he just finished a chapter book in a day, And to me, it was just so empowering for him and so exciting for me, so exciting for all the kids. They cheered, they were clapping for him because, it was just so cool. And then I have another little one who came into my classroom at a level 4, which is really low for 2nd grade. And, he was working really hard, but we were plowing through books and just trying to find fits and trying to get him excited. And once I started giving him choice and started, helping him, he wanted to read A Diary of the Wimpy Kid, so I ended up buying it on CD so he could listen to it and follow along. And, a lot of different things that I've done to get him interested. Well, one day he came up to me, and he had a sheet of paper my kids had been reading for reading around the world in the library, and my class actually won for reading the most of all of the lower L kids. We read 16,018 minutes in 3 weeks' time. And that was not what was done in school. It was done what was outside of school. So it's carrying over. And this little boy came up to me with a sheet in hand, and he was about to turn it, and he said, do you know how I'm not a reader? And I didn't pick up on that. I was like, well, and he looks at me and says, do you know how I'm not a reader? And so I played along. I said, okay. He said, well, I just wanted to show you this. And it had 270 minutes on it. He'd read 270 minutes outside of school. Just blew me away. And that conference was just incredible with his parents, just phenomenal. His mom said, this is what I've been waiting for all along. He wants to read so badly. I took him to the library twice, and just excitement. They see it at home. I can't tell you, almost every parent that came in during conferences said, what's going on in your room? And it's great. If you tie it all together, if you give the kids, empower the kids and let them choose the book that they want to read, and then give them the guidance with something along the lines of this curriculum plan is so exciting. It is. It pulls together. It makes it easy. It makes my job easier. And I don't have to change the structure that I already have in place, that they already know in kindergarten first and in my room. I don't have to change that. Now I can just make it better, stronger. So just a lot of great things that they shared with me, and I tried, and very quickly saw the results. And I love it. I won't go back.